I show 2 minutes. We have 1 minute. Morning, directors. Yeah. Justin? Yeah. Me either.
We're waiving your stuff? Okay.
It is 9:30.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Let's call the Western Municipal Water District regular board meeting of September 3rd to order. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Director Gardner?
I am here.
Director Torres?
I'm here.
Director Denstedt?
Present.
Director Roten? Vice President Risby?
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Vice President Risby. You do have a quorum today.
All right. Can we have a pledge of allegiance led by Leo Becerra? All righty. Good morning, Leo.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Leo, tell us about you. Yeah, Leo, don't be.
I thought I was gonna get away.
Good try, Leo.
Yeah, I know.
I got you.
You try.
You got
Which
me.
is funny because if there's anyone who would like to stay and tell us what they do here at Western, it's this gentleman.
All right, Leo.
Come on,
so
Leo.
tell us.
I don't wanna
Tell the
take-
board what you do.
Too much time, Mom. I'm Leo with the Water Quality Department and Cross Connection and Backflow. I've been here for over 7 years, and I love what I do, so customer
thank
service
you.
is my thing, so. I don't want to take too much, I like to talk a lot, so I don't want to take over the board meeting. But thank you guys for having me. Thank you all for doing everything you all do. So I'm really proud of working here for Western, so thank you guys.
Thank you, Leo.
I appreciate it.
All righty, thank you.
And Leo is one of the primary interfaces with external customers.
All
So a lot of our great communications feedback that we get is because of the great work that Leo and some of our other technicians who are working with the public do. So thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we know who our problem solver is
He's one of them, for sure.
and send it out there.
And that's what we get compliments on because he owns the problems for the customers and makes sure they get done. And we get a lot of high marks because he doesn't pass people off, he actually takes care of the problem himself.
Follow up and just try to help them. That's what we do.
Yep.
So
Thank you
thank
very
you
much.
all.
Thank you for being you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Okay, public comments. Did we have any public comments?
I have no requests to speak in the room, and I've received no written comments.
All righty, thank you. Next, we have presentation, Western Water Leaders Program, certificate presentation.
I'll tee it up for Michael a little bit. So we're very proud of this program. We have some amazing conversations with some of our community leaders. We tell them about water. We get their feedback from a business and community standpoint, so we can better target our outreach and our efforts. And Michael's led this program since it started.
That's right.
So, Michael, take it away.
With that.
We're about to award another graduating class.
Absolutely. Good morning, Vice President Rizvi, members of the board. Michael Hadley, Government Relations Officer here at Western Water. Happy to present to you today our Western Water Leaders 2025 cohort and those who have received their certificates today. So we can go to the next slide, please. I'm going to tee this up a little bit before we actually present the certificates. I'll talk about, give a little brief overview of the program for those who aren't familiar with it or for those online listening. We'll present our 2025 certificates to the cohort, and then we'll talk a little bit about our 2026 cohort timeline. Next slide, please. So as a reminder, the program overview, the goal of the program is to enhance trust and credibility within Western Water's service area, improve awareness of Western Water's regional priorities, engage key community partners, and create informed water ambassadors and advocates. That's kind of the general overview of the program. This really came from the idea of we had people going on metropolitan inspection trips throughout the last couple decades, and we wanted to find a way to interact with these folks on a more regular basis and to have them involved more in our long-term planning and strategic initiatives and things like that. Next slide, please. The program overall of our Western Water Leaders programs is made up of a few different things. One of them is our Riverside County Water Task Force speaker series that we co-host with WRCOG and Eastern Municipal Water District, our Metropolitan Water District inspection trips. We have a luncheon series that we actually had just kicked off this last year. And of course, what we're here today to talk about, the certificate program. Next slide. So as far as our Western Water Leaders certificates from this year's cohort, next slide, please. They had to go through a number of requirements in order to meet to meet the certificate requirements. First one was a Western Water 101 session with our general manager, Craig Miller. They had to go on a Metropolitan Water District inspection trip, whether it was the overnight trip, which we had in the Delta, or the one-day trip here locally. They had to go on a Connect the Drops tour. Our Riverside County Water Task Force speaker series, they had to attend at least one of the either virtual or in-person options. Attend a Western Water Board or committee meeting. That's, again, another virtual or in-person option. Go to our Western Water Leader Luncheon, and then attend our Waterworks Wonders events. Now, this cohort had had a unique challenge in that there was a lot of scheduling conflicts and changes that had to be made due to reasons not because of them, but because of myself and some other things that came up unexpectedly. So this has been one of the more resilient groups we've had to go through and very flexible, and I just want to reiterate my appreciation to them for being flexible throughout this last year because a lot of things unexpectedly came up that we had to change things around. So they've at least met a majority of these requirements, and so we felt it was proper to give them their certificates here today. So with that, next slide. Our 2025 cohort included Valerie Bacchus from the Murrieta Valley Unified School District, who could not be here today, Chris Gray from the Western Riverside Council of Governments, who is here with us today, Mark Long from the University of California Riverside School of Public Policy, Jenna Manwari, who is from Esri and was not able to join us today, and then Lewis Allen from the Mission Grove Neighborhood Alliance was here today. So with that, I'd like to invite the three folks from our class up here to join me at the podium. Director Rizvi actually has your certificates with you, and I would like to actually invite the entire board down to take a picture with our graduates today. So with that, if you would please. cohort, I also wanted to mention that we do have a gift in addition to what we've already provided to our water leaders. There's customized Ember mug, one of those self-heating mugs for you all. It's customized with the Western Water Leader logo on it, and that's for each of you to take home with you today as a special thank you for us. It's a little bit above a normal tchotchke or swag item you might receive at a conference. So it's wanted to make sure that you know you're appreciated, and we appreciate the time it took for you to be a part of this program. So with that, thanks, Mark. You're very So with that, and talking about our 2026 cohort coming up, I forget. We have our upcoming timeline. Our invitations have been sent to a number of folks to participate in our next water leader cohort. We'll have in September, in a few weeks, our Western Water One luncheon. And then you can see in front of you, we have kind of things spread out tentatively on the schedule as where things land with the speaker series. We've actually changed it up a little bit this year where we're adding, we noticed that in our Western Water 101 luncheon, trying to cram in everything about Western Water, about the Western Water Leader program, some state policy and some federal policy in 90 minutes is really hard, and we end up running over time. Imagine that. So we're splitting it apart where we're going to have, it's our separate federal and state water policy discussions that are going to be on their own. Attendees will be required to attend at least one of those separate sessions in this next cohort. Our follow drop tour and things like that. So that's why you kind of see the new items on there, the federal policy and the state water policy. But everything else is pretty much the same for the year coming up ahead. With that, for any participant suggestions, please let me know for moving forward. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me or through Tammy from the civic or community world that you think would be great. Our preference is to not have people who are actively working currently at a water agency. We really like that input from folks who aren't directly working in the water world at this moment, or board members of water agencies, but we're starting to branch out a little bit to local electeds who aren't at water districts, things like that, trying to get some more input and folks like that. So with that, I believe that concludes my program, concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you, Michael. I think this is just a wonderful program, and this has worked out so well. We've had so many wonderful participants in this that really carry forward our water message. And, you know, I always enjoy these trips that we take now. So many great questions and so many great opportunities. I would tell you that, and I know you're aware of this, so we've just had a special election conclude down in for the Assembly District. Natasha Johnson, who is a longtime sitting council member for Lake Elsinore, is the presumed winner. Obviously, they haven't finalized that race. But she's going to be standing up in office, and she's going to be standing up with people, and she needs to get familiar with some water policy to make sure that she's on board, because she's coming in at such a weird time in the cycle.
Right.
And so I would suggest that we reach out to her folks for sure, because I know she's still trying to get everything set. But it would be a wonderful opportunity to introduce her to some big water policy that she needs to make some critical votes on, and have her understand everything that we've been working on with SB 72 and all of those things too. So just a shout out for that.
Absolutely. She's definitely on our invite list for our Colorado River trip. That's
Great.
for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And congratulations again to the 2025 cohort. I'm very proud to have this program and have them be a part of it. Thank you.
Wants to pull anything?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. When you're ready, can we have roll call, please? Tammy?
Director Gardner,
Aye.
Director Torres,
Yes.
Director Denstedt,
Aye.
Vice President Rizvi.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Okay, perfect. Items to be added to the agenda. Welcome
nothing to
back
add
to
today.
General Manager. Nothing yet, okay. Action, Agenda 8A, authorize the transfer of unclaimed monies to the Western Municipal Water District General Fund.
This item went to the Finance Committee. Amanda Ohm is here to present it to the board.
Good morning, Board of Directors. we are presenting the annual request to transfer money unclaimed from checks issued in calendar year 2021 back to the district. This money will be available for general use. This action is proposed when the monies have remained unclaimed on Western's books for a period of 3 years or more. As part of our due diligence, a notice to the public with the names and dollar amounts was placed in a press enterprise on July 17th and July 24th, 2025. In addition, notification letters were sent to each payee with the outstanding check amounts to provide additional opportunity to claim their funds. Claimants had 45 days from the first publication to file a verifiable claim. When a check is returned as undeliverable or remains uncashed, research is performed to determine if the payee is a current customer of Western at a new address or known by our Development Services Department. They review the contact information from the original paperwork and the copy of the check deposit. The research continues by checking with the developer's contractor, checking Western records for other temporary meter customer accounts, and searching the internet to obtain updated phone or address information. The customer service department calls, emails, sends letters, and searches the billing software database for updated customer information. An additional staff review takes place before publishing the notice in the newspaper. Subsequent to this item being brought to the August 18th, 2025 Finance Committee, staff was directed to perform additional research on Amtrak Reservations unclaimed check of $24.17 and later reissued the check with a new address found online while no responses were received via several attempts of phone calls. In addition, we received 3 claims in the total amount of $323.20. The removal of the 3 checks reduced the unclaimed money listing from $17,872.76 to $17,525.39. The amount to be transferred to the general fund is $17,525.39. It is important to keep in mind that even after the board authorizes the transfer of unclaimed monies to the general fund, all monies will remain available to be claimed and paid in the future to the individuals and businesses to whom the monies belong. This concludes my presentation. We'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Just a very quick question. So the number on here is different now then, okay. Just making, I was like, I'm trying to follow along. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Do you
I'll
have any
second.
question?
And thank you for checking on Amtrak.
No, for sure.
Did
And just a comment, I want to thank staff for their due diligence in trying to return people's money, right? I mean, we're going through great lengths to do this, and just as it was reported, I want to make sure that it's very clear that if at some point in time, somebody comes back miraculously and says, I think I have money here, that we're going to allow them to claim it. So it's not like it's going away and ollie auction free and you're out of luck. So, but thank you for your due diligence on trying to make good with this, and I hope at some point people materialize for, money that's owed to them. So, thank you.
We have a motion and a second, right? Okay, we're ready? Can we have roll call, please?
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt. Vice President Rizvi.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Did we have any public?
We do not have any
comment?
public comment.
All right.
Yeah. Stayed out of jail again.
Action, agenda item 8B, approve a capital project budget to upgrade the closed-circuit television security system at Western Municipal Water District's El Sobrante facility.
Michael Miles will be presenting this. Michael?
Thank you.
Good morning, directors. We tried to get a few more words in that title, but we ran out of space there. So, thank you and good morning. I'm Michael Mauser. I'm the Director of Information Services here at Western. So today's project presentation is on the operations camera facility system upgrade. As a reminder, this item was presented at the Finance Committee on August 18th and recommended for the board's consideration today. So this project is to replace and upgrade the security camera system at Western's operations facility, or the El Sobrante facility. So most of the cameras currently installed in that facility were installed 12 or more years ago, many when the building was first opened. Certain updates have taken place over time, but overall the camera system is well past its useful life. It's difficult to maintain and operate, and it's not currently meeting operational security goals, which is the main point of the camera system. Some of them simply don't work, and others don't provide useful monitoring capabilities. To address those gaps and provide a system that meets our current needs, staff is requesting approval to fully replace and upgrade the system. The project includes removing and decommissioning the current system and installing a new Verkada camera system, as well as the needed equipment and cabling. So the Verkada camera system is a modern, fully cloud system, and it provides advanced capabilities and eliminates the need for staff to maintain additional hardware and complex software on site. So that's a benefit for our staff from a labor perspective. We get to decommission some of the equipment and facilities that we've had struggles to maintain. We also deployed similar installations of the Verkada system at some facilities such as the Orange Crest tank site and the Arlington desalter, and we've had really good results there. So those have had some vandalism issues and stuff like that. We learned a couple lessons along the way. One story is that the first time we installed a camera at the Orange Crest tank site, the camera itself was stolen. They didn't get far. It's kind of a big unit with a housing on it and stuff, and so we found it at the edge of the property. But we worked with internal teams to harden that installation a little bit, use rigid conduits and things like that, and put it a little more out of reach. So we're building on some success and some learning lessons learned along the way. The performance of the system has exceeded expectations. I had a conversation with our safety manager a few weeks ago, and he was very impressed with response times, how quickly we're notified, and the accuracy of the system in detecting things that are worthy of notification. And then I'd also like to mention that the design and requirements for this project were developed collaboratively by the internal staff from IS, Safety and Operations. So we considered the operations security goals. We worked with the safety office and the IS team, designed some of the technical capabilities. So this approach not only makes sure we meet our operational security goals, but it saved us some costs from having to outsource that design effort. So staff advertised this project for bidding on May 28th, 2025. 10 bids were received and opened on July 7th, 2025. Staff reviewed the bids and determined the bid from WCC Technologies Group to be the lowest cost and highest rated responsive and responsible bid. To complete the project, staff are requesting the Finance Committee, didn't update my notes. Staff are making the Board of Directors approve a capital budget of $305,000 for the El Sobrante Facility Closed Circuit Television Security System Upgrade Project, and amend the board adopted fiscal year 2025-2026 Capital Improvement and Facilities Plan under Facility Improvement Reserve RES 14 and the General Fund 10 accordingly. And authorize the general manager to execute a service contract with WCC Technologies Group in the amount of $267,075. And then I just want to note that the requested capital plan amendment includes carrying forward $175,000 that was originally included in the plan for fiscal year 24-25 and increasing that overall budget by $130,000 for the requested total budget. So that's my presentation. I would also note that we have Martin Fan from West Coast Cabling here if we have any questions for our successful bidder. And otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Move to approve.
Go ahead.
Thank you. First, not for you, budget question. So we're having to amend the budget now in order to accommodate the increase. Is that going to reflect for this fiscal? Is it how are we balancing the lines?
So we're carrying forward budget from last year. The difference in the increase that we're asking for would come out of the general fund reserves. So it wouldn't impact rates.
Okay. And our timeline again for completion?
Once we get started, we're hoping to have the project completed by the end of the calendar year. Correct?
And we're positive, right?
We are confident.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. There's a lot to do there. So, but yeah, we have spoken with the contractor and we feel comfortable and confident with that timeline.
Okay. And happy to have you come up and introduce yourself, and thank you for being here today. We certainly appreciate that.
Good morning, Board of Directors. My name is Martin Fan. Really happy to be here and excited. To go ahead and touch on your timeline, we expect the job to be completed within 45 days, roughly 2 months from the date of, place the order and getting parts on hand. So it could move pretty quick. I don't see a problem of this getting done before the calendar year, which is December 31st.
Fantastic, and staying within budget.
Of course, yes.
Great. Just so we're clear. No, that's great, because I think this is definitely, if this is, we're rolling off of an old system, because I think it's more than 12 years old probably, if we're going at the,
Trying to be conservative, but yes.
yeah, I think
Some of them-
we're older than 12 years for the
We can't-
building.
We can't
right?
get parts for some of the stuff out there. so.
Yeah, no, and definitely, we've got some equipment out there, and we need to know who, what, where, when, and how, so.
Protect it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm all for this, and I think we had a motion, and I'm happy to second that if we haven't had a second
I
yet.
don't believe we do.
We do not take your second?
Okay. Thank you.
We do not.
I do have one question. Michael, do we decommission or disconnect the existing equipment and then install the new? Is there a period where we're not going to have monitoring?
There will probably be some gaps on specific stuff, but we should be pretty able to, I don't know, Martin, if you want to help with that, or Steve. We should be pretty able to sort of work through them in steps so that the backbone for the new system is online. So as new cameras go in, it's a day or two when the new one comes
Obviously, we
online.
want to minimize that.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, as it is right now, the camera system is not being relied on for security or operational. They have a guard every night that's roaming the facility and things like that. So as it sits right now, the cameras are not really being used for that purpose. So within a week is our goal of taking one down, having the new one slapped up. They will be using the old cables to potentially pull some new cables and things like that. So like you said, there will be a slight downtime, but very minimal.
Okay, great,
Don't
thank you.
announce the dates when it's down.
Yeah.
Never.
But point being, we have security on site, a live person who is actually out there monitoring.
Correct.
Yeah. And we'll certainly coordinate with the safety office to make sure they're aware and provide whatever
Additional.
additional steps are needed.
Thank you.
Are we ready? Director Gardner,
Aye.
Director Torres,
Yes.
Director Dinstead,
Aye.
Vice President Rizvi.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Michael.
directors.
Alrighty, let's go to reports. General counsel report.
Good morning, Madam Vice President. I do not have a report this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. General manager reports. Welcome back.
Bon dia.
See
I learned one thing.
Yeah.
I learned one thing while I was there. It's good to be back. I got back yesterday afternoon. So I think I'm doing well to still be awake at this point.
Little jet lagged?
Not right now, but at about 3 o'clock. I'm in good shape now. It was good to get away. I did check up on things, and Tim texted me back and said, "You're on vacation." So he either sold the whole place or things were running very well. So I think things went really well while I was gone. Thanks, staff, for doing a great job of keeping committee meetings rolling and getting everything done. Let me start with SB 72. So we had a great week last week. It passed out of Assembly of Propes on Friday, so that's good. Sarah was telling me this morning that the senator is pushing hard to get it to the floor, which could be today, probably more likely tomorrow. So lots of outreach has been going on to get all of our NASCAR letters in and having people talk to all their assembly members in their regions. So it's going really well. We're also working very hard on the next step, which is when it gets to the governor's desk. So lots of effort going into that. Not a lot else, unless there's questions on that. A couple of speaking things coming up on Friday is the Orange County Water Summit. Are you going?
We are. Yes.
I won't be
7:30.
speaking at 7 a.m. I'll be speaking at 9:15. You can get there at 7 a.m. if you'd like. I think they have a breakfast that starts. But I'm not the opening act, someone else is, so I'd be there by 8, so you can hear the opening comments. So I'll be moderating a panel, and I have some great panelists. Jason Phillips from Friant Water Authority, a great speaker. I've been on several panels with him. Ed Manning from KP, who's running all the outreach for SB 72, the KP Public Affairs, and then Ed is really leading the charge behind the scenes, as we would expect him to be as a lobbyist. But he's going to bring a different perspective than we see at conferences, where his role is going to be talking about behind the scenes in Sacramento, how come water projects don't move. So it's going to be kind of an insider's perspective. It should be really interesting. Jennifer Pierre, who's the State Water Contractors General Manager, pushing really hard to get Delta Conveyance done. And then Darcy Burke is going to be on there to kind of give a public elected perspective on water supply issues. So hopefully it'll be a good panel. Also on Monday, I'll be participating in a press conference up in Sacramento with Senator Caballero, with I think is it going to be Tim Carmichael from SEEB? He's the director, CEO of SEEB. They're the California Coalition for Economic and Environmental Balance. They're a co-sponsor of the bill. They're trying to blend business and environmental interests to move projects. So they're really valuable, great co-sponsor. And then Graham Naus, the executive director of the California State Association of Counties, the other co-sponsor on the bill. So we'll all be at a press conference in Sacramento on Monday morning. Other than that, we have WRCOG TAC committee. I was installed as the chair.
Yes.
Tim did it to me.
That's what happens when you're not showing up for me.
I didn't show up.
They just asked, I said yes.
Tim said, yeah, he'd be happy to do it. We're going to talk later. Yeah, we've been participating on TAC for a long time. It's all city managers except for us in Eastern. So we kind of get the short end of the agenda always, but I often use the go around the room, see if anyone has any comments to talk about water issues. So because of Director Denstadt's position, we get the potential chair at TAC. So we're following through and we'll be taking care of that. The other thing that we've also gotten out of WRCOG that I've mentioned it before, but they have a great fellow program. And so we've often had the opportunity to take advantage of their fellows, short-term. A lot of times they're public policy. I think we've had water resources fellows also, and they're really good. They're very high-functioning, high-level students from UCR, and they just work out great. And unfortunately, they leave us, so we're always trying to keep them. But we're hoping we'll get one and maybe two, and then we share the cost with WRCOG. So it's a great program for the students getting out of college and trying to figure out what they want to do with their careers. And our staff does a great job of making them very functional while they're here, so they actually get work done. So it's a great program. So we're looking forward to that.
And just to chime in on that comment, very high percentage of them actually go on to get employed by the jurisdictions in which they do their fellowships with. A couple of years ago, Thomas Kohlmeyer, who was a fellow for the county, actually is already graduated and is practicing law in Connecticut. So, so fellows, very successful and a great money opportunity for us to take advantage of somebody who's really hungry and wants to learn about stuff. And we're only having to pay a small portion of compensation
great.
for them. So
That was one of the things that we did on TAC a couple of years ago, because you used to get a fellow every other year because they didn't have enough fellows and enough budget to handle it. And so a couple of years ago, we brought forward to leadership of WRCOG that, we would like a fellow every single year. So either find more money or we'll just pay. We'll just pay the full boat so every other year we get half funding, I think is the way it works now. And then the alternate year, we just pay the full fee, but they're very valuable. So good partnership between us and WRCOG on that. And that's all I have.
All right. Great. Any questions? Okay, perfect. Director's comments and requests, reports by SWAPA.
SAPA met yesterday, largely routine. The one item of significance was the board unanimously approved a contract with Karen Williams to be the general manager and chief financial officer. We're not replacing the chief financial officer position. So even though it makes more money than the prior general manager, it's saving SAPA on the order, a little over $300,000 a year by combining the two positions. She has agreed to stay on through the end of 2027. And to help incentivize that, she had asked for the SAPA policy is that employees' accrued sick leave is paid at 60% when they leave SAPA employment. And she asked to have that increased to 100%. And I negotiated with her that, yes, we will do that, but it's contingent on your staying through the end of 2027. So there's a fairly significant incentive for her to stick out those 2 years. And during that time frame, it is anticipated that SAPA will complete a strategic plan, which is not yet off the ground, but will be before the end of this calendar year. So I think it's a good move all around. She gets along well with the staff. The staff is happy. It's kind of nice to see smiles when you look out at staff. And I think she is well respected by the general managers and works well with the general managers of the 5 agencies that make up SAPA. So that's it for SAPA.
Just to add to
Sure.
the story a little bit, she had announced that she was going to retire at the end of this year.
Yes.
And so
Okay,
now
so
when director
2
says
weeks.
she's staying until 27, that's why. She's agreed to stay another year and postpone her retirement, which we're very appreciative.
Actually, 2 years.
2 years.
She was going to go at the end of 25.
Oh, yeah.
So now she's staying through the end of 27.
Alrighty. Matt?
Nothing's going on at Met. Met. So I will not be at WRCOG's meeting on Monday. And I will be doing next round of interviews for the general manager at Metropolitan. In all likelihood, I won't be in communication with anybody because all the phones and iPads and everything are going to be taken while we do those, because there's somebody that can't not leak information to the press. And that's extremely disappointing. Despite many conversations that I had while I was at CASA, there has been no selection of a general manager. So I hope that's kind of out there, because everybody's under the assumption that we've already done this selection, made this offer, onboarding. No, none of that has happened. So we're still moving through the process. It's starting to get very interesting with all of the information that's coming out in the press and how they're trying to, in my opinion, manipulate the entire process. And that's a little disheartening. So hopefully we'll be able to.
For those of us that don't get the chisme through the press, what?
I know, I'm like.
What are you
we had
talking
no
about?
idea. Yeah, it's just entertaining, because there's a lot of things and a lot of speculation, and I hate to say people's names and throw their names out there, but there are people that are absolutely getting thrown under the bus, and their name is getting thrown out there as this likely candidate, and that Met shouldn't be supporting them because it's this candidate would purportedly support agendas and different things. And so I'm not gonna throw that down, and I'm gonna let it sit, because no decision has been made, and there is clearly no front runner. There's not a predetermination of who this is, who the next GM is gonna be, nothing like that. So I'm just gonna dispel all those rumors, myths, and otherwise.
But they're finalists. They're,
No.
no, oh.
Well, you're down to a certain number of candidates.
You had said 3 last time, I thought. And that may have changed. So, all I can tell you is that the next phase of interviews will be taking place on Monday. That's all I can tell you. So, moving on. So we had our board meeting a week later because of assessed values. So our voting share increased slightly. Ours increased, a couple of others increased. There were some decreases that, were kind of expected. LA went down, Foothill went down, the fires and a variety of different things. San Diego also went down, which was kind of interesting, but there was slight changes, but no additional directors have been added for this voting cycle. And again, these are done on a yearly basis based on the assessed value from the counties on their tax rolls. And then a lot of different contracts have been done. These were all proposed and in the budget and planned, so a lot of things have been going on. One of the things that was a hot topic of discussion was the islands. Metropolitan owns several different islands up there. There's 4 islands that Met owns, and some of it, was anticipated to be used for the tunnels, and there was purchasing, and a lot of different things have gone on. So some of them are sitting there with not a whole lot going on, and so there were some approved contracts for rice farming to now take place on these, and that the islands, the land in certain acreages and certain percentages would be leased out. And so, that is gonna pull a production, it's gonna pull some income in and generate those things, so that's all good. There's still a lot of debate over should Met keep the islands or should they not, The fear is that if we sell the islands, then it looks like we're pulling out of the Delta and that we're not looking for the Delta solution. Other people are saying you're trying to, force different things. So it just depends on which side of the aisle you're sitting on, pro-Delta, not pro-Delta, and what happens with the islands. As far as I'm concerned, I see a ton of value in that. It makes for good partners. It leaves our opportunities open. There's carbon credits and different things that are afforded by having the islands in there that Met will need. And so I'm glad that this lease went through. This is a smart business decision to not just let it sit there and be useful. And there's also money attached to it as far as from the state and feds on stuff like this. So we want to make sure that we keep all that in play. And then there were couple of other things that happened. We finished the salary adjustments for the general counsel, for the auditor, for the ethics, and for the general manager was given, Devin is going to be leaving at the end of the year, and he's made that very clear. That's why we're trying to push forward for his replacement so that they have time at least to collaborate. But we gave a one-time performance authorization to him for at the end of the year when he leaves at $30,000. And then there was a performance of general counsel for $15,000 bonus. Frankly, I was a little disappointed that it wasn't higher for general counsel. If you look back at some of the decisions and certainly the settlement with San Diego, general counsel saved us and member agencies like us and Metropolitan in the billions of dollars for everything that has happened over this litigation and what the consequences could be, and to put all of this to rest finally. And I was a little disappointed that we didn't acknowledge legal counsel's participation in getting those things done. So just a little side note on my part. And that's about it. So more to come when I can share more.
Wow. Chino Basin Water Master?
Chino Basin Water Master met late last month and moved some dollars around, carryover dollars. There was some argument about whether the dollars should go essentially into general fund reserve to be available when needed, or allocated to specific projects, some of which may or may not happen. And it went forward as proposed by the staff. It's a mix. Not quite as much went in a general fund as some of the parties had thought appropriate, but the majority thought it was fine the way it was. They're performing an optimum basin management program economic analysis. It's a team of folks from several UC campuses, and they're trying to update an old study that shows that operation of the basin has a basin-wide economic benefit, but didn't look very much at where those benefits were and if there were more benefits and fewer costs in one part of the basin and more costs and fewer benefits in another part of the basin. They're trying to update that. Unfortunately, the old study was done by hand with spreadsheets, and the only thing that still exists is essentially the executive summary, the results. The methodology is lost to history now, so they can't recreate it as it was originally done. So that is moving forward. We also got an update on the peer review of the draft 2025 safe yield reevaluation. That's looking at potentially a 14,000 acre foot a year reduction in safe yield from the basin, which would be significant. It's not a lot of water, especially considering how big the basin is, but for some of the producers, it's a significant hit, and they will have to replace their share of whatever reduction there is with imported water, which, as we all know, is more expensive. The analysis is intended to look at the models that the primary consultant, West Yost, used to come up with their valuation and say, yeah, these models make sense to us, we get the same result, or we have questions about it, we think it's not reliable. So the board is waiting to see what comes out of that study, and we should see it by the board meeting this month. Probably not for action until next month, but we should see the peer review result this month. And that's it for Chino Basin Water Master. CDA is meeting tomorrow. Director Denstead is, Director Roten. Director Denstead's not going either. But Director Roten is unable to go. I will cover for her. It's pretty routine agenda.
Okay, perfect. RICRA will meet September 18th. WR call.
Okay, I've got it here.
WRCOG, so the meeting is next week. And
will attend.
yeah, so there should be an update. I have not heard yet on Tony Hawk if we've got a signed contract with him yet or not. So I will find that out hopefully on my leadership call here later in the week.
I hope he doesn't skate on you.
And yeah, that's gonna. It's no, seriously. This is. I mean, I've already been thinking about different skits and different things that we could do for videos in prep of this, so it might be very entertaining this year. But yeah, so that's for next week, and then keep me posted on what happens.
Will do. SORA is supposed to meet this next Tuesday. I haven't heard anything, so we'll see.
God bless America.
Okay. Aqua.
Aqua, not anything new to report from last time. We have the executive committee meeting for Aqua will be meeting. I have Aqua GPIA liability committee meeting at the end of the month that I will be doing, and probably virtually. I don't think I'm going to go to Sacramento for that. And still, we have the 3-region event that is getting a lot of chatter and a lot of talk. So if you are planning on attending, would be a good time to let Tammy know that you plan on attending that in November.
Will be done. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, director's comments? Go ahead, Gracie.
None, just hope you have had a happy Labor Day.
All righty. Mike?
Nothing.
Nothing. Brenda?
I went to the CASA conference the
Water-
CSDA, sorry, CSDA conference. And CSDA, I really like how they do a lot of stuff, especially the ending session where they put up and have everybody within their perspective groups of organizations. So they put all of the water and utilities together, and they put fire district together. And then they have everybody kind of collaborate and do stuff. One of the things that I love hearing about this stuff, there was one program that just blew my mind and got an award and recognition for that. And it was from a fire district and the firefighter paramedics, how they have whole blood on the trucks ready to do rather than hitting them with IVs, and the success rate and the survival rate for critically injured, victims out in the field has been tremendous on their success. And I thought, wow, that has got to be one heck of a complicated thing to do. But really, they were talking about how they spend more time in the field, how it's a little bit further to get to medical services and transport, and that this was really a life-saving tool. And, while salines and IVs are just a temporary to try to get them there, this whole blood thing has been a whole different thing. And all of the things that they went through to coordinate these efforts and doing these things. And just, this is what I like about going to CSDA. It's because you get to hear so many different collaborative ideas and how they came up with this and what their thought process was. And then it just kind of sends you down this path of, gee, what can we do to think outside of the box and bring something back? And it just invigorates you a little bit. One of the things that I made a comment to one of the folks that sits on those boards was, it would be great, and I'm going to translate this also for Aqua, it would be great during these conferences in the sessions if they would do 2 different types of sessions. In other words, many people attend Aqua for the first time and they're overwhelmed by some of the information. So it would be great if we could have like the 101 section for everybody that's just getting into and trying to learn and trying to do stuff. And then you've got the people that have been there forever that really want the deep dive and want to get into the weeds on everything. And so I wish they would put out a different level of engagement when they're talking about that, and not just kind of free for all and throw it out there. So just kind of food for thought, and I'm happy to hear what your thoughts are on something like that. But I really think, because there's some people that go into these sessions and they're just so overwhelmed. They're like, this is my first one, and I'm so confused, and I'm so filled with information, and I kind of feel bad for them that somebody's not let them through a little bit easier of a path. And then there's some people that say, I didn't get anything out of it because it didn't dive far enough into finances, or how did they actually go about getting these grant monies or applications, or what drove them to apply or find these funds, whatever.
I think, you're valid. Like beginner, intermediary, I don't know. Expert
Right,
or
to
something.
just give it, hey, this is a really advanced thing, so this, if you really are into it, then they're really gonna go for it. So just food for thought, but again, a lot of my time is spent now was the general manager discussion for Metropolitan, and, oh, I heard you guys have hired somebody, that was the top subject for me for this conference by far. So, there we go.
All right. Okay, wonderful. Okay. I'm good. Hope everyone had a great Labor Day, and then that's about it. And then do we have any requests for future agenda items?
Well, we did need to report on something that happened yesterday. Because I believe it was somebody's birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
It was.
just saying, Director.
All right. It was my birthday, and we celebrated with the staff. They sang me happy birthday, and then I had a very good time with my family. Labor Day weekend in my household is all about my birthday. So yeah, it's not only one day; it's the whole weekend. So yeah. Thank you, everyone. All righty. With that, we do have some informational items in our packet, and then our next meeting is Wednesday, September 17th at 9:30. If nothing else, we'll adjourn this meeting at, let's see, 10:26. All right.